Well, hello, fellow addicts. Welcome back to Addicts Live, your internet escape from the craziness in the world. I'm Alissa, your resident head addict, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host to the north, kind of east of me this time, Super Safi.
Yes, actually, I'm in Vermont right now, so
So he is east.
yeah, a little bit east of you. So, hello everyone, happy Saturday morning.
Yes, the Addicts Crew is back once again to bring you Simpsons news and Saturday smiles. And as always, before we get into this week's show, it is time for your weekly reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So hit that red button so you don't miss any of the addicts. And as always, for those not watching this on your YouTube, I will put a link to the subscribe button in the show notes below us. So let's get on with the show, shall we, Saf?
Sounds good.
We are now nearing the halfway point of Rise of the Robots, the new multi-event in TSTO. In fact, tomorrow, Sunday, April 25th, for those watching this after tomorrow, Act 3 will start up. And for those asking, the start time is 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Don't ask me what that is in any other country because I have no idea. So just as we did for Act 1, let's give some quick reactions to Act 2. Prizes for Act 2 included the Robot Rumble Studio, the Award Show Enforcement Rafflecop, Smashiest Clay, Frank Jr., and the premium item for Act 2, the combo was the Lovebot and the Mr. Sparkle Factory. So, Saf, before we dive into the specifics of the prizes and the premiums, any overall thoughts on Act 2?
Overall, I thought it was even better than Act 1. I mean, I thought Act 1 was great. This was even better. Loved all the prizes. The dialogue was, you can see it building up, and the premium character and building were great too. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I like Act 2. It definitely, you can feel the trajectory going like this. I fear as we continue on, it's going to kind of start to go like this. But yeah, Act 2 was nice. It was nice to get into the part of the event where the robots start to take over and we kind of see where the plot line goes, because Act 1 really had nothing to do with that. It was about building Chief Nakahomer. So it's nice to see in Act 2 we start to get to the plot of the whole update. So that was nice. The prizes were fun. I have a few complaints, but nothing too crazy. And it's always nice to get a full character on the prize track. I say it all the time. And in this particular event, it's nice to get an actual person on the prize track and not a robot as a full character. So I was good with that. Let's talk about some of these prizes. So let's talk about the Robot Rumble Studio. You have any thoughts on that one? Which was the first prize?
Yeah, I did like the Robot Rumble Studio. Size-wise, I mean, it does have a fairly big footprint at 14 by 12, but I mean, it does fit in nicely with some other buildings that are like that, like the Krusty Lou Studios and in like that kind of a Hollywood area, if you will. So I did like that I could kind of put it in that section. It does have like a Hollywood feel to a studio feel to it more than like a Robot Rumbles feel. So I decided to go there with the movie theater area. But it is a building that I will keep and keep it in that area as opposed to in the robot area. How about you? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I agree. It's a nice building. It is huge. So I know some people are running out of land. Do not have that issue. Been playing forever. I have almost everything this game has to offer. I'm not running out of land. We have this conversation every so often, but it is big, so I can understand some people's frustration with it. But I agree, it's definitely more a like TV station, which I guess in theory that's what it is, than anything to do with robots, aside from how the billboard on it. So it would fit better in like by Channel 6, by Krusty Lou. Even by some of the film sets we have, like that's good for that kind of an area. I do like EA is back to adding permanent tasks at buildings that are free, because for a little while they had stopped. So it's nice that Bart has a permanent task there. And for those who don't know, it's a 3-hour task. It's his task to shop for Robot Rumble merch. So if you want to have a permanent task at the studio, that's the one you got to send Bart on. But it is nice to see those come back, because like I said, for a while, they didn't have them. And it was so frustrating because we get these buildings and it's like, well, what the heck's the point? No one can go there. So why have it? I can never see the animation because no one ever goes there. So why bother? Actually, speaking of that, Saf, did you notice with this act that the Robot Rumble arena is animated?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't notice?
No.
So there's a fun animation. I'm going to throw it up on the screen now. It's actually two robots from the show. One of them is Buzzkill. I talked about this in the Where Did That Come From post that I wrote this past Thursday. And during the quest line to unlock the prizes, the characters went to the Robot Rumble Arena, assuming you have it. It is a premium item. Not everybody has it. And it animated, much to everyone's surprise. I didn't expect that because it didn't look like there were any tasks there. So I kind of did a little bit of exploring. I had forgotten a couple things. And for those who want to keep that as a permanent animation, because it is fun, it's nice seeing the robots battle each other. You've got a true like BattleBots, Robot Rumble, thing going on. Chief Nakahomer has a permanent task at the arena, and it's an 8-hour task that will animate the arena so you can see that constantly go on. And there will be another character on the premium side in Act 4 that will also have an animated task there. So just as a little heads up. But Seth, what are your thoughts on the award show enforcement bot, the second prize?
It's a nice little decoration. It's nothing really, really too special. I do like that you can just tap on it and animate it. And if you're getting bored of the animation, just tap on it and turn off the animation. But I'll see if I'm going to keep this in my Springfield or put it away. It's just a one-off decoration. So nothing really much to write home about for me, but it's not bad. How about you?
I agree. Full disclosure, it did end up right in my inventory. I'm not really thrilled with it. It's kind of like, yeah, it's nice that it is animated, unlike another prize, which we will talk about in a little bit. And it's not a quick animation. You tap it stays animated. You tap it again, it shuts off the animation. So that's always nice. But yeah, it's just kind of I don't know. It doesn't really do anything else besides like the little hover animation with the laser beam. So I wasn't super impressed by it. So it did end up in my inventory. But if you like the robots and you want to have a little robot like display area, it's not a bad prize to get. Mm-hmm. The next prize was Rafflecop.
So Rafflecop, he's just like any other pet. I can see why they classified it as a pet. It's like when you see the little Halloween gremlin roaming around and you just tap it. Same thing. You can tap and he fires off his cop gun. Yeah, no complaints. I'm going to keep him just roaming around, and anytime I come by him, I'll just tap him for fun. But yeah, nothing much else to him. What about you?
Yeah, Rafflecop makes me giggle. So he'll stay in my Springfield mostly because he roams around. He doesn't take up space. He just roams around the streets like any other character. So he'll stay in my Springfield, and he makes me giggle. So I like that. I love seeing the little picture of Ralph taped to his face. It's amusing. And for those who don't know, NPCs, while they have no actual tasks, they will have a task at the airport. So if you go to your airport, if you have the airport, your NPCs like Rafflecop and the bear robot from the previous act will have a task. They can go on a flight at the airport if you want them to earn some money. I never do it. It doesn't. My cash is maxed out in Springfield. As soon as I spend anything, it ends up being maxed out again. So,
yeah.
But for those who like to have their everybody go on a task and earn some money, that's another way to do it. The next prize was Smashiest Clay. Thoughts?
Smashiest Clay. The only thing I like about it is its name. I'll call back to Cassius Clay, arguably the greatest athlete of all time. Other than that, it's a decoration. It doesn't do anything. You can't tap on it. I think it helps your obedience score. That's pretty much it. But yeah, it'll probably end up in my inventory. Again, the only thing I like about it is it's the name. I thought it was a clever play, clever pun on Cassius Clay.
And as I refer to it as a hunk of metal statue. It does nothing. It literally does nothing but take up space in Springfield, which I hate. I don't know why it doesn't have any kind of an animation. I think it'd be great in the show, in the episode that it's from. It takes another robot and digests it and turns it into the Robot Rumble trophy. I thought that would have been such a cool animation to have if you tap on it, and they didn't do it. It does literally nothing. Tap, 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 tap. It does nothing. So it will probably end up in my inventory. It's not there yet. I don't know why I didn't put it in my inventory. Usually something like that I would put right into inventory, but for some reason I didn't. But it probably will end up there at the end.
Advantage for new players, I mean, for long-term players who are 5 stars, it's not really a big deal. It does earn obedience points, and sometimes, usually, for most players, that's the hardest one to get to 5 stars, is the obedience, if I'm not mistaken. At least that's what I noticed in comments. Most people will say obedience is the hardest. So, yeah.
Obedience and righteousness, those are the two.
Righteousness is another tough one.
But if you have problems with your righteousness, just build a bunch of training walls. You'll never have a problem. Yeah. But yeah, it does help with that. Like in my case, I'm so star maxed out, it doesn't matter. But for some, because the one thing they did when they stopped doing level updates is they stopped making changes to the conformometer requirements. So in the past, when we had level updates, your conformometer requirements to maintain 5 stars changed every time. You had to increase what you had to maintain your 5 stars. But when they eliminated level updates, they eliminated the need for 5-star like changes. So you really didn't have to do anything. If you had 5 stars, you're going to stay 5 stars. It's not going to change. Yeah. I do wish they'd bring that back, though. That was a fun element. All right. The last prize on this prize track was Frink Jr. Thoughts?
How can you, like you said it before, I said it before. I mean, getting a character on a prize track is just amazing. I mean, how can you complain? And getting someone in Frank's family, I mean, even better. So I'm really glad to get Frank Jr. A great character to have. Full character, does all the tasks, the typical 1, 4, 8, 12, 24-hour task. Goes to different places. He's got a couple of visual tasks too, so that's always fun. Yeah, I really like him. How about you?
Yeah, it's best prize on the prize track. He's not voiced, which I'm not surprised. I didn't expect him to be voiced. But his animated tasks are amusing. I like that he uses the robot dog for one of them. That makes me giggle. But yeah, he's hands down the best prize on the prize track. It's the only human on the prize track, non-robot, this whole event. So that's nice to see. Even in the premiums. Oh no, the Robot Rumble announcers, they're human. But beyond those guys and Frank Jr., that's it. Those are all the humans you get with this event. So I don't know. I like him. It's like I said, it's the best prize. It's easy to pretty much list him as the best prize for this event. His tasks are fun. He comes with a quest line. All the standard stuff. You have. All right, let's talk about premium. The premium for this act was the Lovebot and the Mr. Sparkle Factory. It was a 150 donut combo. Thoughts?
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the combo itself, like the way they put those two together. I mean, I feel like they just want to bring the Mr. Sparkle Factory in. So I don't know why they tied it up with the Lovebot, but really I don't know what other building they would have tied up with the Lovebot. The Lovebot itself, I really like. I love her dialogue, or its dialogue, I guess.
Well, it is a female. It's what the heck was her name again?
Pamela, thank you.
I was trying to say Patty, and I'm like, it's not Patty.
But I love her dialogue with Patty, and Patty's acronym for Pamela and the actual acronym for Pamela. That dialogue is absolutely hilarious. Great quest line. Yeah, it's really worth getting Pamela or the Lovebot just for the dialogue. And if you can't afford it, it's understandable. I know not everyone has the donuts. Please do read Alyssa's post on the dialogue for the Lovebot. It is great. I mean, the writers put so much effort into it, and you can tell. The writing is just great. The Mr. Sparkle Factory, aside from my complaint that it's packaged with the Lovebot, it's also that I don't think Mr. Sparkle has a task there, does he?
No, he does not. So, unless they change something later, he does not.
Yeah, as of the recording of this episode, there was no task for Mr. Sparkle there, so I thought that was another miss. So, yeah, the combo itself and the lack of Mr. Sparkle task at the factory was a little bit of a letdown. But the Lovebot and the dialogue for the Lovebot, the whole Pamela storyline with Patty, definitely made up for it. So overall, it was a net positive, but there were a couple of negatives there.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of the reason why they put the two together, because I actually have in my notes, weird combo. The only thing I can think of is they're like, well, they're both from Japan, so let's throw these two together. Like, But it's not the only one that doesn't make a lot of sense. The Act 3 premium doesn't make sense either. I mean, so, and I'm not going to spoil it for those who don't like the spoilers. Yeah, we'll talk about. Well, trust me, we'll have plenty to say in the next video about that. But the Act 4 one makes sense. But but the only thing I think of is they just figured, they're both from Japan. They fit. They work. They don't. It's weird. It's a weird combo, especially because the Lovebot doesn't do anything with the factory. There is an animated task at the factory, not animated task. There is a task at the factory that will animate the factory, and that task is for Homer. I believe it's also a 3-hour task for Homer, and it's like, I don't have it in front of me, but it's shop from or try to get free Mr. Sparkle swag or something like that. So there is a task there, which is nice. It's not going to be an empty, vacant building, and it's fun to finally have the building to kind of go with, the Mr. Sparkle billboard and Mr. Sparkle. But it is a weird combo. It's weird that Mr. Sparkle doesn't have a task there. Hopefully that changes. It's also another big building. So if you don't have a lot of room, like I know it's kind of the one thing I would put in my factory district. And in my factory district, I don't have room for a building that big. So I'd have to kind of relay out everything to make it work.
I had to plop it in my factory district too because there was no space really. But there's just been so many factories added. I agree.
But it's not. I mean, it's not a bad combo. She's not. The Lovebot is not voiced, but I'm not surprised because she's literally, and I wrote this in the Where Did That Come From post. She's literally on screen for like 20 seconds. She doesn't say a word, doesn't do anything. So, the female Lovebot was the odd choice to bring in. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see the male one because the male one has a voice on the show, so that would have been interesting to bring in. But her quest line is really funny. Her tasks are funny too. But it's kind of like one of those sneak peeks into the writer's room because there's no story, no character development in the episode. Like she's literally just like an object that stands there in the episode. She doesn't say a word. She blinks and then she runs away. I mean, that's it. So to see this kind of storyline that was developed is very interesting. And like I said, it gives you kind of that sneak peek into the writer's room. So that's always fun to see. I want to talk real quick. I know we touched on it a little bit, but the quest line for this is how we see kind of how the robots are starting to take over. And it kind of starts to develop a little bit in Act 2. Act 3, it'll further develop. But it's interesting because they're playing off the concept from the Transformers spoof on Treehouse of Horror episode, what the heck was it? 20 or 19? So, which is from season 20. But they're using the robots from iDobot to do it.
She's like...
So if you watch that Treehouse of Horror episode, you'll see the robots take over. They battle, and then at the end they decide it's stupid to fight with each other. They're going to take over, enslave the humans, and that's what they do. And it's kind of that same exact concept coming back, but they're using like Chief Knock-A-Homer to do it. So it's kind of funny to see how they've taken these two episodes and smushed them together, and like. It's not a super original idea because we saw this in the Treehouse of Horror episode, but it is interesting how they've played this out. Do you have any thoughts on that, Seth?
I mean, I feel like we'll see a bit of those characters possibly. I mean, if you watch the spoiler video, then you know. And if
yes,
not,
they will come.
I ruined tomorrow's surprise. I feel like they've been doing that a lot with events where they've been taking a couple episodes, contents, and kind of just merging the two stories together. So not too surprised there.
Yeah, I mean, it's good dialogue. It's fun, as always. Act 2 it's starting to go on the upcline. I still maintain, I think Act 3 is going to be the best act. I think the best prize of this event is going to happen during Act 3. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm interpreting what I'm seeing properly. But I think that's going to end up being the best. Act 4 is, I'm prepping you guys now. Act 4 is going to be a bit of a letdown. But yeah, so that's Act 2. Any other thoughts on Act 2, Saf?
No, overall, I thought it was a really good act. I thought it was solid, better than Act 1. And anytime you get a premium character, and again, like you mentioned, I was really excited to get a human character. So yeah, overall, I was really happy with it.
Yeah. So get ready for Act 3 to start tomorrow if you're watching this on Saturday, which is Sunday, April 25th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next week with Act 3 Convo. Bye-bye.
Bye.